Hi, I'm Michelle Dortignac of Unnata Aerial Yoga, and what I'm going to demonstrate for you today is just a little bit of how I would practice an aerial yoga class. I'll be using the hammock, I'll be using the floor, I'll be using both the hammock and the floor. And when I give verbal dialogue, it'll be just to let you know what's going on for me inside, and therefore let you know why I'm making certain decisions of what to do next. This is going to be a short sample, but I am going to do it in real time so that I'm holding things as long as I really would like to and not rushing through anything just for the video. When you're playing this back, you're welcome to speed through if you want to, but it should give you, if you watched it in full time, a good sense of about how the pace of the class goes. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start chanting an Om, which for me helps me remember to breathe deep and also starts to draw my attention into just vibration, which is what we're looking for with our yoga, is how we're vibrating. So I spend the first few moments calming down, breathing deep, and assessing what I need to do. I'm going to start with my arms and shoulders, as this connection really affects what the neck and the head do. So I'm going to work on releasing that. I'm starting out with the hands coming through the hammock and then wrapping around, interlacing the fingers. I'm not going to actively try to pull down in the hammock, but if I let my elbows bend and just let the weight of the arms be held by the hammock, there is some sort of force that does pull the hammock taut. I'm going to let my head drop and allow myself to allow the head dropping to curve the upper back. And this is starting to come towards what would be cat position, but I'm going to stay here and just keep sinking and sinking deeper into the shape. How the hammock was helping me is because gravity is pulling down evenly on both arms. If I have some sort of discrepancy in my back, or just with one arm being able to lift more than the other, I start to work that out by constantly just letting myself relax. And I could feel the unevenness in my muscles in between the shoulder blades start to work out and let go. So that's how I started. Now I'm just going to return circulation to my wrists and my hands because they were cinched a little bit. I'll press the hands into the mat, do a little bit of circulation here, around the wrists. Then I'm going to tuck the toes under and come to downward facing dog. So that I can energize through the arms. But what I'm also doing is I'm now starting to take advantage of the stretch that I got from using the hammock. The hammock was really stabilizing where my arms were in space and encouraging the upper arm bones to rise up behind my head as I was letting my whole rib cage drop. Now, even though I'm upside down here and I'm energizing through my arms, the movement that I'm trying to achieve is pretty much the same thing. External rotation of the shoulders and letting the arm bones move behind my head, letting my head relax. So the spaciousness and the width that I got from hanging in the hammock from my wrists there in between my shoulder blades, I'm able to access that now and really enjoy a downward facing dog, not feeling tight up around the heart chakra. I'm going to walk my hands back towards my feet, come up to stand. Now I'm going to separate the hammock here, and I'm going to go into resting the elbows on the hammock. I'm going to find that curve again so that I can encourage the external rotation for the shoulders. Now I'm going to push down a little bit with the arms, so I'm using a little bit of muscular activation. And now I'm going to lift my tail and really let my ribs sink as much as possible. Because the hammock has encouraged my elbows to come all the way together and my head is a little bit back of the arms, you can see it's resting on the biceps. It's not possible for me to collapse in the heart and shoulder area that we see sometimes when we do downward facing dog. And therefore it's really encouraging the curvature to go lower down the spine and go into my middle back, which is a really tough area to get into, so that's why I'm doing this. I'm going to bring the weight back on my legs, release from there, make an assessment, do a few shoulder circles. Okay, and I think I'm ready now for my rib tang. So as I put the hammock around my rib cage, it's going to squeeze me around here so that by holding on to my ribs, as I walk myself into the plumb line, I let my seat drop. And then I'm going to start to get some elongation in here. In fact, I just felt a little crack in the lumbar spine. I was careful to place myself in the middle of the hammock, not accidentally be turned one way or the other, so that gravity will pull down on my hips evenly. And I may have some discrepancy in lengthen the legs, or who knows. So gravity will help me work that out. I'm just going to stay here and allow gravity to do the work. I do have to use a little bit of muscular effort of my shoulder blades driving down into the hammock to resist any sort of slipping up into the armpits. But other than that, I'm really trying to do nothing. longer that I stay in the hammock, the bigger I try to breathe. Because the hammock, as it's holding me, is slowly getting tighter and tighter, squeezing tighter and tighter. So I'm going to use my breath to make my ribs expand right where the hammock is holding on to me. It's a great tool to help you identify that you can breathe down that low into your rib cage and into your back. And then once I feel my muscles are fatiguing a little bit, I'm going to bring myself out of the hammock. I'm going to go ahead and bring myself down right to a child's pose so that I can round the back. And because the hammock was squeezing right here, now I'm going to get almost like a little counter stretch for that. And once again, breathe deep. But here there's nothing constricting my ribs, so my circulation can restore itself back to normal. All right, since I just achieved some lengthening in here, I'm going to go into doing a twist, letting left shoulder come to the floor. I'm using my right hand on the ground to help spin my upper back a little bit more. By having both knees on the ground, my hips are pretty much kept even so that I can really use a little bit of oomph, kind of strength to go a little further. And then we'll go to the other side. So I focused really just in this area, and I didn't want to do a full complete class today, just like maybe 15 or 20 minutes, so that's good enough. Got the top half going. I'm going to come to Shavasana, which I actually like doing on the floor. It is possible to do it in the hammock, but for this situation, because I was really working on widening and opening up my heart and allowing that to come out of this collapsing kind of thing that we like to do as humans, I'm going to take advantage of the floor, setting my shoulder blades in place and letting my head make sure that it's not tucking my chin into my throat and then just staying here for several minutes. Now, I know you know what Shavasana looks like, so I won't bore you with taking a look. Thanks so much for watching.